This is the Ears Up English podcast. English that grows with you. Welcome to Ears Up English, where your listening becomes stronger and your speaking becomes smoother. If English still feels scary or stressful for you, don't worry. We're here to help you enjoy English without fear. Strong ears, strong English. Now, let's begin today's episode.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle.
And I'm Robert. Thanks for joining us today.
Lately, even though nothing big has really happened, I feel like my days just disappear. I finish the day and think, wait, what did I even do today? And somehow I feel busy all the time.
That feeling actually makes a lot of sense. Even when you're not that busy, your mind just keeps running and small things start to feel tiring.
Yeah, exactly. Even something simple like talking about the weather or saying one small thing, there are moments when I suddenly freeze and think, oh, what should I say?
Totally. Small talk is supposed to be light, but when you're the one who has to start it, it suddenly feels harder than it should.
Right. And recently, I was talking with a friend and I heard something interesting. Apparently, a lot of people feel stressed because they're not good at small talk.
Hearing that actually makes me feel a bit relieved. Just knowing you're not the only one struggling with it helps.
Yeah, and it's not really about English being hard. Even in our own language, there are moments when we think, I don't know what to talk about, especially when we're the ones starting the conversation.
Exactly. So today, we want to talk about what kind of things you can say in small talk and how to keep it light so it feels easier for the person starting it.
One thing I've noticed is that when you're the one starting small talk, you put pressure on yourself without realizing it. You feel like you need to say something interesting or clever.
I do that too. The moment there's silence, I feel like it's my job to fix it, and that pressure makes my mind go blank.
Yeah, but when you look back, the small talk that felt easy usually wasn't exciting at all. No punchline, no special story.
Right. It felt easy because the other person didn't have to think much. They could just react.
A common mistake is starting with a big, open question, like, how have you been? Or what did you do this weekend?
Those sound easy, but for the person answering, they're actually kind of heavy. They start thinking, should I talk about work, about my personal life? How much should I say?
Exactly. Small talk often stops not because of silence, but because the other person starts thinking too hard.
And in small talk, making people think less is actually a good thing.
One thing I want to add here is that questions themselves aren't bad. It's more about when you ask them, and that timing really changes how the conversation feels.
Yeah, I agree. When people hear don't ask questions, they sometimes think they should never ask anything, but that's not really the point.
Exactly. The problem is asking a question too early, before you've responded to what the other person is feeling.
If the first thing you do is throw a question, the other person suddenly has to work. They have to think and explain.
But when you respond to the feeling first, the question feels much lighter. It almost feels like a natural next step.
So instead of listening for information, it really helps to listen for emotion.
Yeah. People who are good at small talk aren't focused on the topic itself. They're paying attention to how the other person sounds.
For example, if someone says, I've been a bit busy lately, the important part isn't what they're busy with.
Right. It's the feeling behind it. So a good first response might be something like, that sounds tough, or that must be tiring.
Those kinds of responses don't push the conversation forward. They just show that you noticed how the other person feels.
And once you do that, asking a question doesn't feel sudden anymore.
Yeah, after you acknowledge the feeling, something like, what's been keeping you busy, feels natural.
The order really matters. Feeling first, question second.
That small shift alone makes starting conversations much easier.
Another thing that helps is starting with your own state instead of a question. Not a story, just how you feel in that moment.
Right. Something like, I feel kind of sleepy today, or I'm a bit low energy this morning.
You don't need to explain why. Your state is just a hint, not the main topic.
Once you start explaining, small talk starts to feel heavier than it needs to be.
And when you do want to continue, you don't need a clever question.
There are a few very simple patterns that work in a lot of situations.
One is asking, how was that? Another is, how is it going lately?
And the third one is, how is it compared to before? Those questions don't push the conversation. They just gently open the door.
So if someone says, I changed jobs, you don't need a big reaction.
You can just say, oh really, how is it compared to before? And see where it goes.
And if it doesn't go anywhere, that's fine too. You don't have to force it. Now let's listen to today's dialogue. It's nothing special, just a normal small talk conversation.
I feel kind of sleepy today. It's not like I stayed up late or anything.
I get that. I feel like my brain hasn't fully woken up yet either.
For me, the middle of the week feels the hardest lately. How about you?
Same here. I'm not super busy, but my mind feels a bit unsettled.
Yeah, that kind of phase happens. Do you think you will be able to relax this weekend, or is it still unclear?
I'd like to stay home and take it easy, but my plans usually don't get decided until the last minute.
I know that feeling. Sometimes having no plans is actually more relaxing.
When you listen to that dialogue, nothing really special is being shared. No big stories, no news, no strong opinions.
But a few important things are happening. The conversation starts with a state, not an event.
A state doesn't need a reason. You don't have to explain it or justify it.
And the responses don't try to fix anything. No advice, no solutions, just, I get that.
That's what keeps it light. The questions also come later, not at the very beginning.
And notice how the conversation could end at several points and still feel complete. All right, let's listen to today's dialogue one more time.
I feel kind of sleepy today. It's not like I stayed up late or anything.
I get that. I feel like my brain hasn't fully woken up yet either.
For me, the middle of the week feels the hardest lately. How about you?
Same here. I'm not super busy, but my mind feels a bit unsettled.
Yeah, that kind of phase happens. Do you think you will be able to relax this weekend, or is it still unclear?
I'd like to stay home and take it easy, but my plans usually don't get decided until the last minute.
I know that feeling. Sometimes having no plans is actually more relaxing.
What we talked about today wasn't about preparing good stories. It was about what to do on days when you honestly have nothing to say. Those are the days when small talk feels the hardest.
Yeah, because on those days you feel like you're supposed to come up with something, but there's really nothing there.
And on days like that, the easiest place to start isn't yourself. It's what's already around you.
The weather, how crowded it is, the time of day, those things don't require any effort. They're already there whether you try or not.
Right. You don't need to be creative. You don't need a topic. You're just pointing at what's already in front of both of you.
And if you get even a small reaction, that's when you can add one small comment about your own state.
Something simple like, I'm a bit tired today, or I feel kind of off this morning. That's enough.
You don't have to explain why. You don't have to turn it into a story.
The moment you start explaining, small talk starts to feel heavier than it needs to be.
Questions also play a different role than people think. They're not there to expand the conversation.
They're just there to keep it from stopping. One small question is enough.
And if the answer is short, you don't need to rescue the conversation.
Letting it end is not a failure. It just means that moment is over.
Small talk isn't something you win or lose. It's something you touch lightly and then step away from.
And when you think about it that way, starting conversations feels much easier.
You're not trying to impress anyone. You're just sharing a moment.
That mindset alone can really change how comfortable you feel starting small talk. All right, everyone, that's today's episode of Ears Up English. Strong ears, strong English. Keep training your ears every day.
Try the ideas from today's episode and see how they change your conversations. We'd love to hear how it works for you.
And if you enjoy our podcast, we'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss a new episode.
Join us again next time for more friendly, everyday English. Take care and keep your ears up. Bye.